Alright, so this is going to be a short video, hopefully, of how to replace the paddle shifter assembly on the ClubSport GT2 wheel. So a couple tools you'll need: a Phillips screwdriver and some Allen keys or hex wrenches, hex keys, Allen wrenches, whatever you want to call them. You're going to need a 4mm, 2.5mm, and a 2mm wrench. And these are the new shifters that, or the new assemblies, sorry, that have come from Fanatec. There is a left and a right, however, I've already tested this out and they are interchangeable. So you can use the left on the right side, the right on the left side, everything still works the same. So the right and left doesn't really matter. Some parts, these are the screws for the paddles themselves. I'm probably not going to use these. I'm just going to reuse the hardware that's already on the wheel. This is a USB cable and should not have been in the shot to begin with, so we'll get rid of that. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is pull off these paddles. As you can see, my spring is busted and it does not return. So we'll go ahead and pull those off, and we're going to use the 2.5mm. So try not to lose these because they are pretty small. There's a couple little tiny washers on each one, and if you lose them, it makes it really hard to put them back together. Okay, so now that the paddles are off, we can go ahead and remove the back cover. There's 6 screws, 4 Phillips, and 2 of the 2mm hex screws. So we'll just undo these. Okay, so now this cover should just pop off. Slide that out of the way. And here's the shifter assemblies. This is the busted one. And that one still works. So let's take off the right one. And for that we are going to need the 4mm Allen wrench, and basically these screws are a little tricky to get at. They come down underneath the brace at the back, so kind of got to do it blind a little bit. There's 2 of them, one on each side. so they'll just fall out the bottom. We'll just take them off. Okay, so be careful not to pinch the wire or whatever, although not so much of an issue on this one because this is the busted one anyways, but still want to be careful that the little connection doesn't get damaged. So we just give it a little wiggle and it'll pull straight out. Try not to yank the wires out, just give it a little wiggle back and forth and it should come right out. Okay, so let's put the new one in and we'll use the same screws. So this is where it becomes a little tricky because you got to put these screws inside to start them. So I'm going to start with the furthest screw away. And we'll use our 4mm wrench again. And we just have to line them up with these two holes here in the base. So line up the furthest one. And I'm just going to start this one for now because to get the second screw in we need to have it be able to pivot . Okay, so now that that's started, we can go ahead and hook up the wire. So try not to pinch it, and it's going to be a little tricky, but it can only go in one way, so just try to get it lined up as best as possible. And so I've started it, and I'm just going to take my small Allen key and careful not to pinch the wires. Push the connection in all the way. Alright, so that's all good. And we can go ahead and tighten up the two set screws. Okay. So now we can go ahead and put the cover back on. So the cover just slides back on like so. Line it up, make sure there's no wires or anything hanging out that you can pinch. Press down firmly. And we'll put the two 2mm screws in. I'm just going to start those and then we can put the other 4 screws back in. Alright, perfect. Okay, so now we can put the paddles back on using the 2.5mm wrench. And these ones do matter what side they go on. There is a left and right. Alright, and there we go. Paddle's good as new, and easy enough to do if you have a couple basic tools and can work a screwdriver. Alright, good to go.